So, we want to give you as much information about how to do...
Sorry.
We want to give you as much information...
Sorry, I'm not pressing...
Just the hair.
Judge the hair. Right, so, okay, we're back again in the garden for the last time today because the sun's going to start going around. But we thought we'd finish off our day of filming with a good old bit of rock and metal from Ginger. So yeah, Ginger and Pisces Live. Now I looked at the one that lots of people have reacted to, but it's actually in a studio rather than a live recording. So if you really want to know what a singer's doing, the best thing to do is to actually listen to them singing that same song that they've had in a studio or live studio recorded, where things can still be produced through a mixing desk and actually live. And even though it's still produced through the sound system, it is more of a live experience than in a nice comfortable studio. So we've had a look at Ginger at Resurrection Fest so that we can try and hear a bit more what she's actually doing, because we do get asked quite a lot, what is she actually doing when she's making these incredible sounds. So let's have a look and let's try and work it out, Michael. So what we're going to do on this one is we're going to listen to it through, and then we're going to go back and break down what it is she's doing, purely because we've been asked to do that. And I love them anyway, and I love all this kind of music and this kind of singing. So, you ready, Michael?
Ready.
Let's have an effects fest. Let's go.
Resurrection Fest.
So I'm going to stop it there. Stop number one. Now, we've seen some reaction videos where people are really surprised that these noises are actually happening. But this is metal music. This is just how metal people sing. We work with metal singers quite a lot, so these noises aren't a surprise to us, but we can actually help you break them down. So don't be afraid of the noises that they're making. It is awesome, by the way, but it's actually not as scary as you think. So we'll get into that later and just carry on. But I love Ginger, and I think she's got a brilliant sound, and it's just, anyway, we'll break it down in a while because there's a few clues there as to what she's doing in some of those bits. Let's do it. So basically, we're going to break it down for you now. So this is a variety of vocal techniques with metal effects and vocal effects in general, which sound brilliant anyway, but that's my personal taste. It's not something you do in every single piece of music. But let's just break it down. So let's go back to the original part where she starts. So she's got all this beautiful, like, lovely singing. And actually she doesn't sound as strong as she does in the live studio version there, which is why it's good to watch the actual live version at a festival. So she sounds quite light, and some of the lower ones kind of break up a little tiny bit, but this gives us a clue as to how she's singing those other things and suddenly coming out with loads of really heavy stuff, because she's not a high edge belter.
No.
So that gives you the clue that actually she's not high edge belting either when she's making these noises that sound huge, and that's just not what she's doing. So let's have a look at the first bit when she gets on the podium. Gives you a load. Wicked. So this is well, it's something called growl or grunt.
Yeah.
So we often muck around with these sounds just because we were very annoying children, so we do this stuff all the time. So with a lot of the Tibetan sort of Himalayan stuff, they say first of all you need to learn how to sound like a dog, which is quite funny because this is essentially a very gruff sort of bark. So if you can do a dog bark,
Yeah. And even if you find that a bit scary at first, the smaller version is just a slightly annoyed sigh.
the more air you take away and the more it becomes, just pretend you're a dog, and then it becomes this massive kind of sound. And if you've got a microphone, that sounds like a really massive sound, which is just lush. We will actually do a video with the microphone and an amp so you can hear the difference that actually makes. Yeah. And also if you watch how she's holding her mic here, this is really low, but this next part gives you also a clue what she's doing. It's kind of not quite as growly as the other one. So she's got a bit of growl in there, which is the so it's just moved up slightly, so it's not the it's kind of a bit more choked, so she's changing that sound there as well. But I think that gives us more of a clue as to how she's constructing the rest, because we don't know what she's got in here. We don't know the shape of her instrument or the shape of yours, but different resonances and different vibrations are going to sound different with different people, but when you combine them they sound amazing.
Yeah.
So she's combining stuff here. So she's got a grunt, she's got a bit of growl, at the higher ones she's got some distortion, brings live. So it's the bit of distortion, which you're really good at distortion on head voice.
That sort of sound.
Yeah, so you've got distortion. Hey, that's distortion. Hey, and then you've got also a bit of back tongue rattle.
Yeah.
So pretend you're like a hissing cat. And then you've got fry scream.
Yep.
On top of that, which is just essentially fry. And a bit of distortion, and then you add the microphone, and you just get this massive powerful sound.
Yeah.
But the one at the end there, when she's really far away, yeah.
Come on, spin, you know what to do!
Check out the distance she's from. Now this is really high. It's the note you've got underneath your for ice cream. In fact, we'll put the link to the video up there. It's actually it sounds much higher. With the rattle and the, I can't make it louder without a microphone. It just sounds amazing.
And that's the important thing. We're just giving you some ideas, of course, of what we know is happening from research and experience. But if you're working with this and you're not sure about anything, yeah, it's important if you're going to work with these sounds. It looks and sounds, and it is a lot of work and great technical work. But these things are not supposed to hurt. We would be able to
Yes.
tell immediately if she was doing something wrong. You can't fake it if you get an effect wrong. You feel,
will hurt, yeah. And
you feel
obviously,
tears in your eyes.
I don't feel that I'm sore in any way
No.
whatsoever. I can still sing a really nice note.
And you can hear that with her. She's going from that back to na 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 na, back to this soft stuff.
Yeah.
And that's it. The important thing is, these are just ideas and things for you to start looking into. There is research out there now. There are evidence-based teachers and people who can demonstrate the sounds healthily and well. But if you're going to work with a teacher, make sure they know what they're doing.
Yeah,
And make
and
sure
all-
they
yeah.
know the stuff, the genre.
Exactly. Knowing the genre really, really helps, because not all singing teachers are aware of what's happening because they can't actually do it and never have done it. I've been tested by students who have said, send me a video of you making these noises before I hire you, because I've had a teacher that said they could do it and all they did was talk about it and didn't really demonstrate the effects. And if you want to not harm yourself and see somebody that's clearly not harming themselves when they do this kind of music all the time, then you know you've got the technique right. But you'll know yourself, as Michael said, if it hurts, just don't do it. But if you don't feel you need to go to the hospital in the next 5 minutes and it just feels like there's been a different vibration, then you're probably okay. But just don't push it, just do a little bit at a time. And each one of these effects, there's like 4 I think I've mentioned so far, not including the sound colour, because this is a very dark sound colour, but none of these are happening on the vocal folds themselves apart from the creak or the fry scream. But there are some rules surrounding that in order that you don't hurt yourself, and the main one is it's actually not that loud.
No.
It's all about vibration and pressure in the right place without pushing that sound. So please let us know if you have any questions. Please let us know if there's any other sounds that people are making that you'd like us to break down. We promise not to talk all the way through it. Can't guarantee it though, because this is an analysis channel as well as a reaction channel, but love a bit of metal, so why not throw it as some singers, both male and female.
Yeah.
We can break them down for you.
Yeah, and I think with this as well, sharing all these different styles with you, I think what we also hope is that people will see that, you know, whether it's to everyone's taste or not, these should be respected. There are conventions within metal that's just like different conventions within classical singing as regards the sound colour, the type of effect you use. You know, if you do the wrong effect in the wrong place, the metalheads are going to say, no, I'm sorry, that's not authentic.
Exactly, and it's all about combination of effects. So once you've isolated them all, and we're going to do a series of videos on effects, because I mean I teach vocal effects all the time, and I'm also a consultant for some educations in voice for effects, which means we've really got to know what we're doing and be able to identify all of these individually and then be able to combine them safely. Some work with some don't. So most of all, take care,
Yes.
watch the volume, watch the air, look after yourselves, but don't be afraid to have a go. But most of all, take care, watch yourself. If it hurts, don't do it. Watch the volume, more importantly, watch the air, watch all of the pressure. Anything that feels uncomfortable shouldn't really be done. And most of all, don't be afraid to have a go. I wouldn't have discovered that I could do these noises if I hadn't tried in the first place, because I was singing classical music and nice girly pop, and I decided to have a go and found out that 1, it's a lot of fun, 2, I can do it pretty well, and 3, why not? It's quite a big genre these days and it's a valid career path, so why not have a go?
Exactly. And you've probably done these things without even thinking about it as a child. You know, I used to sit and watch The Simpsons and copy Bart getting strangled and you know,
Yeah,
all these
exactly.
sounds, and you don't think about it because you're a kid and you're playing. And part of finding this, of course, always take care of yourself, but it's about being playful, exploring, and not being scared of sounds.
Not be scared of sounds, and also play about, because there's a lot of combinations she's doing here which aren't necessarily the most natural way of doing it, because she's discovered that she's got a propensity for these particular combinations. You might have a different combination. You might have a really dark or really light sounding colour that no one's got, or sound that no one's got. And if you're a beatboxer, you'll know that it's all about the purity of the sound or making a sound that no one else has got, and it's exactly the same for metal.
These techniques, you can see from Ginger's amazing singing and effects that these techniques can be done healthily, and there's a convention, a technique to them, so they shouldn't hurt. And we don't want people to think that part of this process is, oh, you just, like a bicep, you tear the muscle and then you build it up. It's not like that.
Or
with
a
the
badge
voice.
of honour where you've got to be bleeding from the throat
No.
before you can sing metal music. It's not like that at all.
No way, because that's not how the tiny little vocal cords work.
Yeah.
But they can do, and the whole vocal tract can do amazing things, as you can hear.
Yeah, I mean, it used to be like that because there wasn't science to back it up, there wasn't any research, but now we know pretty clearly that none of these vibrations, apart from creak and fry, happen on the vocal folds directly, which means it's just vibrations around everything else. So once you've isolated the particular vibration you want to use, the rest of it is just...
History.
The rest of it is easy.
Yeah.
But it does take practice.
Yes.
So this is the thing. It's not going to happen overnight, but like anything, it takes a little bit of work.
Yeah, but then once you find it and you've got those good vibrations,
Yep.
it's fun. So that's the most important thing. This is meant to be fun, expressive, creative. So enjoy yourselves, take care of yourselves, and we'll see you next time.
Remember, she was smiling while she was singing most
Yes,
of that.
she was.